Well, good evening, everybody. Impromptu show, exciting impromptu show at that. Austin Eldridge and Chris Muller back here with you as Ole Miss. How about this, Chris Muller? We are in the driver's seat down in Coral Gables, 2-0 after defeating Arizona and Miami, and locked up a berth in the regional championship game tomorrow. Man, it feels good to say that.
It feels great. We could not have drawn this up any better from a pitching perspective, in my opinion. We'll get to the game here in a second, but I really think that we've set ourselves up for a lot of success tomorrow. I haven't used a whole lot of pitchers. Obviously, used Brandon both today and yesterday, but I think he'll be ready to go for tomorrow. You know, everything's on the line tomorrow, so it's that kind of day. Whether we use them in the first game or not would be of some question. But if we get to a game 7, I absolutely think it's who can give me a third, who can give me 2/3, who can get me, can you get me an out? That's the question. Can you get me? What can you give me? What can I get from you as far as, what do you got in the tank? What's left? And I think that everybody's got something left in the tank, minus maybe Hunter. Hunter would be the only person that I think might be tanked out. But I think DeLucia would, if you asked DeLucia today, hey, could you go for an inning or two tomorrow? He'd say, give me the damn ball.
Yeah, I mean, and Hunter threw 98 pitches today and did just a phenomenal job. I get it. He struggled some in those innings, but you get out of a bases loaded jam early on against Miami on their home field in a undefeated game to go to the regional championship game, and you get out of that without allowing a single run, you could not ask for anything more than what Hunter Elliott gave Ole Miss today. Did exactly what they needed him to do, got into the post-mid portion of the game, and you only had to use Brandon Johnson there right after Mason Nichols for very little yet again. Set him up perfectly for tomorrow, as you said. And with DeLucia throwing, I know he threw 100-plus pitches, but the dude's arm's made out of rubber. I mean, he'll be ready to go if Bianco needs him. He said it time and time again. So you could not ask for a better setup pitching-wise for Ole Miss and Derek Diamond tomorrow.
Absolutely. And that first inning was just so – it goes south really quick on us if we don't get out of that inning with a 0 up on the board. I mean, bases loaded. You talk about a single, maybe scores even 3, but definitely scores 2. And we're looking at a complexion where we're, having to come from not just behind, but a significant amount of runs from behind. And we did come from behind today, which again is impressive that for the last 2 nights we've been able to come from behind and meet the charge head on. And, we really had 2 chances at it. We had that chance in the 6th, I believe, when we loaded the bases up. And then obviously we got the two runs home in the 7th. And I know a lot of people, after the 6th inning, there was a lot of air that got let out of the balloon. But let's not look at it from that perspective. Let's take the other perspective of they got off the mat and they met the challenge in the 7th inning and scored the 2 runs and then held it down. And there's a lot to be said for holding it down and for I'm not saying that a sac fly to score a run is a fluke thing, because obviously we would have taken that in the 6th inning, hand over fist. But it is an interesting way to go up 1-0 and possibly win a ball game. But that's the way baseball is. So I just think that we are where we are at the right time. And I don't want to quote Tim Elko too much, but the Rebs are hot right now. So I'll leave that expression for tomorrow and see what happens from there.
Yeah, and Peyton said the same thing at the end of the game. The Rebs are hot, and just they've got a fire lit on her. And I get that it's very easy to be frustrated. I was frustrated when they left runners at 2nd and 3rd with no outs and didn't score. But the game, baseball's 9 innings at least, guys. So you don't have to throw the game out because they didn't score 1 inning. And sure enough, just like we saw in game 1, they get off the mat, as you said, and here they are now 2-0 in the regional and have to lose twice That is a big, big deal right there. Someone has to beat you 2 times in a row tomorrow, regardless of whether it's Miami or Arizona, and that's hard to do. That's regardless of where Ole Miss's pitching staff will stand one way or another. It's hard to beat the same team twice in a row on the same day.
It absolutely is, and it has happened before, and we've been on the wrong side of that equation more recently than we'd like to talk about. But I think that it's a different team, it's a different mindset. The leadership is there, the comeback mentality is there. So I just don't see it the same way that we saw it in, I believe it was 2018 it was 2018. I just don't see it setting up that same way. And I think that actually playing on the road is more beneficial to us in this regard, as well as the fact that we're not at the yard right now trying to pound out a W and fighting for our lives. And I realize again in 2019 there was the team that did that, but Arizona's been at the park forever today. I guess they went back to the hotel and got some food, but they were, in the shots from the game, you could see them already there for obvious reasons, but there was not much of a break for them between the time they walked off the field this morning or early this afternoon and the time that they had to be back at the yard ready to go, ready to start their pregame warmups. So I don't envy having to come out of the losers bracket, especially in this 2-3-2 format. It is just, I'm not going to say it's not fair because every team knew going in to Saturday what they were facing, but it's just a hard deal to manage.
Yeah, it really is. And Arizona trails Miami 1-0 currently, very early in that game still, but Miami has an early 1-0 lead on the Wildcats. And yeah, you end the Ole Miss Arizona game last night at 1:15ish Eastern time, I believe it was. And you get up, you got to play another game at 11 o'clock a.m. down there. Then you have to play another game at 6, 7, or actually, no, it's closer to 8 p.m. down there now, but it's a little bit longer of a break thanks to the slight delay this afternoon. But still, that's a lot of baseball in 24 hours. And then one of them is about to turn around and play at least one game again tomorrow. So that 2-3-2 format, as you talked about it on Twitter a lot prior to the game that Ole Miss played today, you come out of the losers bracket, your road just got a whole lot harder. So Ole Miss going into a potentially, don't want to put the cart before the horse, but going into a super regional potentially with having only played 2 games so far is a big, big deal for them.
Yeah, and to put the 2-3-2 format to bed a little bit. So Arizona and Miami are playing right now. So you looked at a 6 o'clock start their time. And then you look at a noon start. I believe that's the scheduled start time, noon Central tomorrow for us in the winner of this game. And then you're looking, I don't know if they've announced a start time for game 7, but we'll just assume there's a fairly large break. So we'll say they start again at 6 o'clock local time. So you're, again, looking at 3 games in the course of 27 hours. And I realize that we play a lot of games in the SEC. Ole Miss finished up the LSU game and then came back and played the back end of that doubleheader and played another game on Sunday. So very similar format, but it's just a totally different deal. Again, you're looking at lose or go home for 3 straight games in the course of 27 hours. Not ideal by any stretch of the imagination, but very happy that we're sitting back at the hotel watching the ball game, not grinding it out on the field right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hunter and Mike Bianco and Hunter Elliott and Tim Elko. Don't get Tim Elko's name wrong. That's a bad one to get wrong. Anyway, they were in the press conference afterwards, and Hunter specifically talked about just staying calm out there, throwing his pitches and hitting his spots when he needed to. And I know I asked him about the playing in the SEC stadiums, which you and I talked about prior to the game and prior to the weekend about the difference that playing in front of SEC crowds does for Ole Miss. And Hunter mentioned that. He said there's not a tougher crowd in the country he doesn't feel like than Baum Walker Stadium in Arkansas. And that seemed to be a big deal for him coming out here and playing in front of a few thousand in Miami. That's nothing compared to going on the road in the SEC, and I think that really did a lot for him.
No doubt. I think that well, Baum Walker is a tough place to play. I've been up there for the Super Regional actually a couple years ago. It's going to be really interesting to see if everything holds true with where it is right now with the two regionals between Southern Miss and Miami. If everything holds true, I think we're going to see a different level of energy out of the folks in Baton Rouge than we saw when we went down there the last time. When you put the College World Series on the line, it's not, hey, let's go home after the third inning when we're down 8-0. LSU has proven in their regional at Southern Mississippi that no lead is too big for LSU to come back from. Don't want to get too far into that. We can talk a lot more about the storylines surrounding LSU or Southern Mississippi because there are a ton of them, no matter which way that series goes. And, knock on wood, hopefully we get it done in one tomorrow, and if not two. But the storylines, it almost writes itself, and it's going to be so exciting if we get there. And let's not go too far down that road. But Tim Elko, that double in the seventh inning was just amazing. And, we kept waiting for the dam to crack. And it finally did in the seventh inning, which was just so cool for a guy that really put his life, much like Gaddis, put his life on hold for a year to come back and play college baseball and have, as he described it, one last ride. And he's getting the ride that he wanted, I think, which is really a cool feeling to see for and from a guy like him.
Yeah, touch on both those points. Obviously, like you said, super regional. We don't want to talk about that too much yet. Obviously, Ole Miss still has work to do. But yeah, I personally would rather go to Hattiesburg. I think as far as for the crowd and the team, that no disrespect to Southern Miss, but it's just a different scenario going to Southern Miss than it is going to Baton Rouge with the College World Series on the line. As you said, Baton Rouge is known for being very raucous, and that's going to be on steroids if it's a super regional. So certainly not not a rematch. I don't think Ole Miss would look forward to based on what happened earlier in the season. Well, they're going to look forward to it, but not going to be an easy one. But as far as Tim Elko is concerned, the guy's had just a remarkable career, and he's had a lot of big hits in his remarkable career. And was that the biggest hit of his career? Maybe, maybe not. There's, obviously the ACL home runs are always going to be remembered as legendary. But to go up 2-0 in a regional when people literally were saying Ole Miss didn't even deserve to be in the NCAA tournament nationally, that's a pretty big hit.
It's huge. Obviously, last year was a Cinderella story in the Oxford Regional, but to go on the road and to come from behind, I think it feels a little bit different. At somebody else's place feels a little bit different. Their crowd did get into it once they scored their run. So it's just different. Can't compare the two. Obviously, Grand Slam at Swayze regional tournament is going to be something that will live on forever. You and I may have talked about it. 10 years from now, if you say the name Tim Elko, people will get this stare in their eyes, and they'll reach back into their memory file and talk about Tim Elko home runs or Tim Elko did this, Tim Elko did that. I don't know that there's any other player. Maybe Pomerantz comes to mind from a performance in the postseason, but Elko is just such a special guy that I don't know that there's any other Ole Miss Rebel that 10, 20 years from now, people mention a guy's name and you're going to get this look of just gut wrenching, going back to the moment that somebody remembers that home run or the home run that he had at Texas A&M, which I was fortunate enough to witness live. Those home runs that he hit after the ACL injury were just so special. And so he's just such a special guy. If you ever get a chance to talk with him, so humble, such a religious man that really has a lot of faith. And it's really impressive to see.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. There's a lot of big names, obviously, in Ole Miss history. I mean, Doug Nikhazy, you think of recently, people are always going to remember Doug for his performances. Austin Anderson, obviously, the walk-off home run on the what was supposed to be an intentional walk was a big moment because that's the last time Ole Miss went to Omaha. But those names just don't have the clout that Tim Elko has because of what Tim Elko has meant to Ole Miss as a whole and to the community of Oxford as a whole. The guy has just done so much for the team, for the school, for kids. He's just got a huge heart, and you just don't see college kids like Tim Elko very much that are just guys that are so genuine like he is. And that's not a knock on anybody else that plays baseball for Ole Miss. There's a lot of really good guys on that team, but Tim Elko is just that guy that you're just like, man, put a statue out front of Swayze Field with him, man. I mean, the guy, if there's ever somebody deserves a statue out front of OU Stadium at Swayze Field, it's got to be doggone Tim Elko.
It does. And to touch on your point about the rest of the guys, when you look at the recruits that Mike Bianco brings in, he obviously brings in great athletes, which is highly important to a baseball program. There's no doubt. But the guys that he brings in are such high quality young men that he doesn't have the problems that maybe other sports do. And I don't want to single out sports or anything else like that. But Mike runs such a clean program that we don't have to worry about what goes on. We all get to, look and see, okay, we get to second guess decisions about, why didn't he pull this guy, or why is this guy playing in this position? But we don't ever have to worry about the quality of the individual that's in the uniform. And we all know that they're going to represent the name on the front of the chest as well as the name on the back of the chest. And just to button up Elko a little bit, there's a reason why he's got that seal on his chest. I remember when he first got the seal on his chest for the COVID year, I believe it was, and Tim had not played that much, to be very honest. If you go back and look at the 2019 stats, 2018 stats when he was a freshman, he may have had 5 home runs between the two seasons. And so he was really this unknown quantity that you looked at from a fan perspective and said, well, I don't understand. Why is this guy captain? And you found out that year why he got the captain, but he continues to prove day in, day out why he deserves to have that seal on the front of his jersey, and why his teammates trust him so much.
Yeah, and he spoke to that specifically in the press conference today. It's about the team. He said that. He never thinks about himself. This is clearly a special year for Tim Elko, and these are special games for Tim Elko to continue to win, to continue to get to play, because whenever Ole Miss loses their last game of the season, whenever that is, that's it for Tim Elko at Ole Miss. He's not back for another year. And you can see the emotion all over him, whether it's joy like he's had last couple games, whether it's heartbreak like you saw all over his face at Hoover. You can tell what it means to him. And he does it for his team, and he does it for his coach, and he does it for he doesn't do it for himself. Yes, he's having a great time out there. But if you ask Tim Elko to talk about who he's out there for, Tim Elko would be the last thing he said.
Yeah, got the opportunity to go to Arizona last year, and I believe Elko hit the double in the 9th inning, and he got subbed out for obvious reasons. Number one, he couldn't hardly run, but number two, I think Mike wanted to send him off in such a way that was befitting Tim Elko, and you had that feeling as he ran off the field that was the last time that we would see Tim Elko in an Ole Miss uniform, and he got a really nice ovation from the crowd, and it was just really cool to see him come back this year and to announce the way he did that he was coming back. And it's been a magical ride for Tim. Really happy for the guy. Couldn't be happier. Tim and his family. Those of us that weren't able to see the or don't remember, at senior day, his family did not get to attend senior day because his sister was graduating from medical school. So you look at what he gave up. I'm sure he told his parents, "Hey, go support sis. She's graduating from medical school. Much bigger deal than me in the senior day. I'm going to play more baseball," which he was right. But he didn't realize that it was only going to be one more game possibly at Hoover, and now he's on a ride. And so it's just really cool for Tim and his family. I know his family really supports him a lot on social media. So just really cool for Tim to see everything that's come together for the team.
Yeah, and he's not done yet. Still got some more baseball to play, at least 2 more games. Hopefully a lot more than that. Hopefully he's only got 1 more game to play in Miami and then on to Hattiesburg or Baton Rouge, whichever it's going to be. And hopefully on to Omaha. But we're getting way ahead of the horse with that. But we'll see. But either way, Tim Elko is just – man, he's going to be sorely missed down there in Oxford. And I'm certainly looking forward to the remainder of his collegiate career. And hopefully that'll go on for a little while longer. But as it is right now, we don't know who Ole Miss is going to face just yet. Tomorrow, it's either going to be Miami or Arizona again. So the good news is you've already got a scouting report on them. And the other good news is, guess who's using a lot more pitching than Ole Miss is before tomorrow gets here? One of those 2 teams.
Absolutely. That's the crappy thing about coming out of the losers bracket is you've got to throw probably 3 more arms tonight than you would have liked to have thrown if you were in the spot that we're in. So we're really in a good spot. Derek has been phenomenal the first time through the lineup. I think that it's get him through the first time through the lineup, see where he's at, continue with him until he's, starts to see a little decline or a little trouble, and then let the bullpen take over and see where that goes. Like I said, we've got fresh arms. Who can give us an inning? Hey, can you give us an inning? Take the inning. If DeLucia can give us an inning in the middle, take it. If he can give us an out in a hot spot, take the out. That's what they did last year with Doug. I don't anticipate that Mike's not going to leave anything on the table tomorrow. It may be game 7 before we see Dylan, but it's that day. It's the day we've all wanted to see Ole Miss get into this position, and all the cards are on the table.
Well, and John Gaddis is available now. He was available today, actually, but we didn't need him. And so he's available out of the bullpen. Washburn hasn't seen any action at all. How about Mallets, by the way? This kid right here, he has got ice in his veins. Josh Mallets has been just an absolutely key piece to this Ole Miss baseball team, coming out of nowhere, it seems, to just be one of the most filthy relief pitchers they've got on the team. The dude's, he's got stones, man. Like him and Brandon Johnson, they just pump you up out there. And the way he pitched last night in game 1 against Arizona, another key piece to that win. Just fantastic out of the bullpen. It's all coming together for Ole Miss. At one point, the bullpen was trouble for this team, and now these main guys have been lights out for them.
Yeah, the bullpen obviously has been shored up, and the cool thing about coming out of the bullpen is it's max effort. So when you look at somebody like Hunter and Dylan and Diamond, you just can't go max effort because you're the starter and you're supposed to give us some length, hopefully 5 to 6 to 7 innings somewhere in there. And so you can't go max effort, whereas a guy like Mallets and a guy like Johnson can just go for that short period of time and go max effort. And it's almost like the difference between a long distance runner and a sprint runner. And our relievers are sprinters and our starters are the long distance guys.
Yeah, but what's so crucial about especially Hunter being a freshman, but Dylan too, is they know what their speed should be. That's what's so crazy about, especially a freshman like Hunter. He comes out there and knows where he needs to be to go deep into a game, and he's consistently doing it. That's something you don't see from a freshman pitcher every day.
You don't, and we saw that in the first inning, right? It could have gotten sideways for him really quick. He didn't allow it to, and that's if you look at the key to the game, and everybody's going to point to Elko getting the huge 2-out double, but that first inning is where we won the game. It's where we kept Miami off the scoreboard. It's the momentum. I'm not going to say it was a momentum shift, but we didn't allow them to get any momentum from it to start a train, so kind of going downhill in that regard.
Yeah, and I mean, again, you see Hunter Elliott come out there. That is a situation where if a freshman pitcher is ever going to lose it, that's the situation he's going to lose it. In the postseason, his first postseason action ever, and he's got bases loaded on the road in a regional against the top seed, sits him down. I mean, just absolutely incredible what Hunter has brought to this team. And if we get loose for another year next year, which I haven't heard any indication that we wouldn't, and then you get Hunter back as those back-to-back guys in rotation again, and if they get even better, look out.
Yeah, I think Lucia comes back for another year. I think he's a JUCO transfer, so I think he's locked in for another year as far as rules go. And then Hunter, obviously, we get for another 2 years, unless he's got an age thing that I haven't heard about, which would make him draft eligible next year. But I haven't heard that. So I would imagine that we get him for another 2 years. But I think that I'm not worried about next year. Yeah, let's continue. Let's continue this ride until we get thrown off the train, so to speak, and hopefully the train keeps on chugging. It's obviously going to go east. We don't know where east from Miami, but hopefully it keeps chugging east and then takes a sharp right turn and heads north for a couple 100 miles.
Yeah, back towards going to go back to either Mississippi or Louisiana, one of the two. And speaking of, it's 4-4 in that one right now in the fourth inning. Southern Miss and LSU tied up in a winner-take-all game there, I believe. This is their title game, or they have one more.
They have one more. Southern Mississippi has a loss, and LSU is in the driver's seat. So,
Southern Miss has to beat them twice.
This is Game 6, and right. Southern Miss has to win twice to secure the regional final.
Gotcha. Well, no lead is safe with LSU, as we've talked about. But how about one more look, Chris, before we get off of here for the evening? One more look at what was the final pitch of today's matchup in Miami. Brandon Johnson, fire us up. Can they do it?
Yes, they can. Johnson, the fist bump. Ole Miss finds a way.
Ole Miss finds a way. You are absolutely correct. And I'll tell you what, nobody fires me up like Brandon Johnson.
He's an absolute monster out there. The energy that all those pitchers, the relief guys bring is incredible. But Brandon just is, he's got it running through his veins. He's got the fire, and I hope to see him again, late in the game tomorrow. Or maybe it's, we don't even see him tomorrow and we're up 8-0. And so hand the ball off to Tim Elko, let him throw the last out for all I care.
I don't know about that. I don't want to risk that. Let's not take any chances with Timothy. We had that last year. But yeah, throw Drew McDaniel out there or something, get somebody out there who is, or Washburn, somebody like that who you don't use as often. And get them out there. And the biggest thing I hate the most about this postseason run is the loss. Wow, I'm blanking on our pitcher's name that got hurt. Wow, that was a bad time to have a brain fart.
Max Chofie, perhaps?
Not Chofie. Our newest addition, Riley Maddox. My goodness, I could not think of his name. I hate it for him that he's not really getting to be a part of this on the mound, but I know he's enjoying the ride either way, watching and it's awesome to see the Rebels playing so well. And pump us up, BJ, man. Let's go get another one tomorrow. Go 3. Hey, we talked about it. Go 3-0 in the regional, and that's all you got to do. And hey, they're one win away from doing that.
My saying before the regional started, besides "Don't let the Hurricane win," was "Let's go dub and head on out."
Yeah, the one thing we did get wrong today was our final score predictions. We were way off. I said 8-4, and you said what, 7-5 or 6-4.
I said 6-4. Yeah.
Hey, it was 2-1, but hey, it was Ole Miss 2, Miami 1.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. It's like we said. It could be 1-0 as long as it's Ole Miss 1, Miami 0, and that's all that matters is who's got more than the other one.
Absolutely. Hey, we could score on a pass ball in the bottom of the 9th inning for all I care, as long as we come out ahead.
Yeah, I mean, Ole Miss has been the victim of losses like that, so we can dish it out to somebody too. So I'm excited, Chris. It's been an exciting day. It's always nice to get a couple of wins and get to go and, as Mike Bianco said in the press conference, go chill out, shower at the hotel, watch the games on TV, and get some rest and get hydrated after what has been a long few days down in Miami. And know that you've got to be beat twice, and that's a big deal. And for Derek, that's an even bigger deal in his head.
Yeah, we're in the driver's seat. I think Derek just goes out there and does what he needs to do. Hopefully, if he gives us 5 to 6, be very happy. Turn it over to the bullpen. Go maybe Gaddis for 2, Washburn for the 8th, or Mounts for the 8th, and let Johnson just shut her down, and we'll take it on the road.
Well, that game will come your way tomorrow at approximately noon Central Time. Ole Miss and either Arizona or Miami. Quick score check. It is tied at 1 in the top of the third. So that game will be going on for a little while longer. But noon Central Time will be that game. No time has been announced as of yet for a Game 7 if necessary. We'll update you on all that when we hear of a potential Game 7 time should it be needed. But first things first, just go get that win at noon Central and don't worry about it.
Yeah, absolutely. I hear Keith Carter's issuing excuse notes. So if you want to check out you might be able to email him, get an excuse note for tomorrow afternoon to watch the Rebs at your favorite local establishment.
Yeah, I wonder if that works for a full-time employer. I would love to. I need to find that out. If that employer happens to be your dad, I wonder if that would even work better.
It might. You can't hurt to ask.
Well, Chris, always a pleasure. I'll let you get on to your evening. Thank you guys so much for tuning into our shows today. We really appreciate all the support you guys have shown us doing these. It's a lot of fun doing them. We really enjoy it. And the Rebel Walk is trying to bring you just great coverage every single day on all things Ole Miss athletics. Hotty toddy, and let's go win Game 3 tomorrow.
Hotty toddy, everybody.
And have a great night, and we'll talk to you again at some point tomorrow.